Coming up on this month's edition of The Now, an update on the future of a Naperville landmark, tips for teens filing taxes next month, students protest against gun violence, and your monthly sports update. Good morning, Huskies, and welcome to this month's edition of The Now. From your Advanced Media Lab, I'm Drake McIntyre.
And I'm Erica Brandt. Downtown Naperville's Carillon Tower has deteriorated in recent years. Now, the fate of the landmark is in question. Neha Narayan has the story.
Thanks, guys. Located in the center of downtown Naperville, the Moser Tower has become a landmark to Naperville residents. Last summer, the structural safety fell under question. We took a look into the future of this tower. During the summer in 2017, the city conducted an assessment of the Millennium Carillon and its structural integrity. Due to mainly weather erosion, deterioration of the tower has raised some concerns. Bill Novak, Director of Transportation Engineering and Development, explained the possible solutions.
So some of the most expensive option would be fixing it, going in, correcting all the corrosion, addressing all of the cracked and deteriorated concrete, and then actually enclosing the lower half of it. So that's about the $3.5 million option. A little less than $3 million is actually going in and just fixing all the concrete and steel. And then the other broad one that we looked at was decommissioning it, basically taking it down, and that was probably somewhere in the $700,000 range.
Naperville resident Denise McHale has a particularly strong connection with the Moser Tower. McHale's mother-in-law purchased the bell to honor her father-in-law and the impact he has had on her family and the community.
They built their first house here in Naperville. So that's where their kids grew up, and my mother-in-law still lives in the same house, and they had a family business, and that was kind of her way of kind of signifying the business that he had started so many years ago.
The bell is a way for McHale and her family to feel connected and be a part of the community.
I think it has a lot to do with community. There's a lot of founding families who donated to the bell tower who still reside in Naperville and help Naperville thrive, and I think it just kind of brings a beautiful sense of true community, I feel like.
Novak recognizes the difficulty of creating logistically effective solutions that still respect the emotional attachment residents have.
I think younger people, your generation, it's been around ever since you've been here, and there's a greater value on it, but also the people that have donated to it and the people that put all their spirit and money into it. It's a great thing at a great location in the city, and there's not many of them out there.
Novak explained that a report will be sent to the Riverwalk Commission in July. The commission will then take 1 or 2 months to debate and send a recommendation to City Hall this coming fall. From the North Star, this has been Neha Narayan. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Neha. And now another story from the North Star.
Thanks, guys. With April coming up just around the corner, students are beginning to receive and file their tax returns for the 2017 season. This being the first time for a majority of students here at North, it is a complex and difficult process, so we sat down with Mrs. Moranis and Kevin Mack to learn more about tax returns and the struggles that can come along with them.
You start the tax process on day one of your job. So when you start a job, you'll fill out a lot of paperwork, but one of the forms you'll fill out is the W-4. And this is a withholding allowance certificate. It's very simple to do. You just put your demographic information in, your social security number, and you have to choose whether you want 1 allowance or 0. If you choose 0, you will have more tax taken out of your paycheck than probably is necessary. If you claim 1 allowance, you will have hardly any tax taken out, and the benefit is that you get more money in your paycheck every month. So you won't have the government holding your money interest-free.
I would say the sooner you do that, the better. The deadline was April 17th, so about a month from now, and everyone is kind of rushing to do it right at the end of the deadline, and if you do it later, you're going to get your potential tax returns later. So I say the sooner you do it, the better. You'll get your money back sooner.
Mrs. Moranis also shared some tips and tricks that will help students when filling out their W-2s and 1040 EZs.
Their employer will be sending them a W-2, and the only boxes on here that they need to be concerned about are boxes 1 and 2. So 1 is the wages, tips and compensation. Box 2 is how much they paid in federal tax throughout the year. So they're going to use these numbers to file a 1040 EZ, and this is where they find out 1, if they're going to get a refund, 2, if they broke even, or 3, if they have to make a payment. But generally, kids who make under the amount of $6,350 are under that standard deduction, and they will owe no federal income tax.
While tax day is only roughly a month away, it's never too early to start filing. In fact, the earlier you fill out your tax returns, the better off you will be, and the more money you may receive back from the federal government. From the North Star, I'm Harper Dede. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Harper. On Wednesday, hundreds of Naperville North students participated in a historic walkout to push for gun control reform. The North Star was on the scene.
Just 1 month after 17 were killed at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida, over 500 students walked out of Naperville North High School and onto the Harshbarger-Welzell Stadium. During the walkout, sophomore Clea Summers and senior Jacob Barron talked about their experiences knowing victims of gun violence.
The personal epiphany was not formed solely as a result of these events. I've gone to school every day for the past 5 years in fear of the unthinkable. Planning escape routes, finding ideal places to hide, preparing last words to loved ones is no way to go about the school day every day.
She told me that she cannot be angry as long as she is devastated, and therefore it is my job to be angry. We all need to be angry.
Senior India Martin ended the event with a call to action for the students who walked out.
I encourage you to find out who your representatives are and where they stand on trying to reduce deaths by gun violence. Innocent lives are at stake. So, let us honor the 17 victims of the Parkland shooting and every single victim of gun violence from every corner of this nation, no matter their age, race, or social status.
Naperville North participated with about 3,000 schools across the nation, including Naperville Central, Matea Valley, Neuqua Valley, and Waubonsee Valley High School. From the North Star, this has been Audrey Ioka. Back to you guys.
And now we go to Maddie Krebs with the monthly sports update.
Thanks, guys. What's up, Naperville North? Welcome back to your monthly sports update. The girls' varsity soccer team has always been a perennial powerhouse of NNHS sports, and this year is no different. Even after winning a sectional championship last year and losing many key seniors, there's no doubt this year's team will be just as dominant, as the team has plenty of talented seniors of their own, 7 of which are committed to play soccer in college next year. Mike Trubshaw got an inside look at the team's preparation for the season and what's to come.
Thanks, Maddie. The girls' soccer team is just starting their season. They're already off to a great start. We talked to 2 seniors and learned what their goals were for the season and how they plan to interact with their teammates.
As a high school, we've had conditioning at 5:45 in the morning for the past month before season started, and a lot of people have been doing a lot of stuff on their own. I noticed the big tournaments were attended before the season started, so everybody was really doing everything in their power to be their best for our season.
I actually think the team chemistry is really good. I'm really happy with it. Even though there's a lot of new people, I was pleasantly surprised when we all came together. It just feels like everyone's been together for a really long time, so I think that that's really going to help us during the season.
Well, the first thing we want is a DVC title. That's the most important thing to us.
We've had a little bit of a drought with that, so I think that's really important, but also just to have a really long run. No matter how far we make it, the season isn't measured in wins and losses, so if we do our best, then I'm happy with that.
We tied Barrington 2-2, which is pretty exciting considering they're the state champs, or previous state champs. And then we beat Lake Park 2-0 last night. So, I mean, we need to work on finishing our scoring opportunities, but overall we defended really well as a team.
I mean, I hope to get a lot out of this season, and obviously everyone's end goal would be a state championship, but I know there's a lot more than that.
We want a successful run like as a team and to go out with bang, I guess.
Thanks, Mike. With their hard work and training, it'll be exciting to see how far the team makes it this year. The girls' next home game is on Thursday against St. Charles East. That's all for sports. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Maddie. And that's all for this month's edition of The Now. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. And check us out at our website at nnhsnorthstar.com. From the North Star, this has been Drake McIntyre.
And Erica Brandt. Have a great day, Huskies, and we'll see you next month.